Let's take this.
I can tell you there's a standing ovation in the arena.
Let's take this for a moment. Donald Trump walking into the Rotunda. He has done this before, of course. This is inauguration number 2. As he receives a round of applause as he enters the building. He is President 45, he is President 47, and he is moments away from walking into the building as First Lady again, Melania Trump, walks in.
Outfit, at a personal note, I think it's stunning. It's got a very, like, My Fair Lady vibe to it all. And, yeah, I think watching this, it is just extraordinary to think this is the same building where we saw a riot 4 years ago and Donald Trump's back, bigger, with a better mandate, and a felon. We keep forgetting this point. He is technically a felon. He has a felony from New York. And the fact he got through that and is more popular than ever, I think just shows the extraordinary presence of mind, the influence that Donald Trump has, and the ability to build that base that he has done that no one thought he could. And I think the other thing to remember in all of this is that he has completely fundamentally changed what the Republican Party is. And that's why I would say J.D. Vance, not necessarily a given. He's got to prove it, and Vice President can be a poison chalice. Sure. To your earlier point, you can get sidelined. It'll be up to him to make sure he owns something. He has some successes he can lay out, but sure, he's absolutely in the box seat for it.
What do you think, just back on Melania, what do you think she'll do differently this time?
She seems a lot more sure of herself this time. She's been doing interviews and she has a presence of mind. She's written a book where she's disagreed with Donald Trump on some things, and she seems a lot more confident. You can hear the boo in the crowd, Pete. This is not the big Biden fan club in this arena. And I can tell you, just since we've been talking, I can look around now and it has really filled up. Yesterday they had trouble with security and they couldn't get it filled up before before Donald Trump arrived. And this time around, this looks like it's really going to be a full house before Donald Trump arrives here later in the day for his indoor presidential inauguration parade.
Well, let's switch it from where you are then and get the mood as he has just walked into the Rotunda. Well, let's take the audio from there.
Ladies and gentlemen, escorting the Vice President-elect, the Executive Director for the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, Mr. Michael Wagner, Senate Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms and Doorkeeper, Jason Bell, and House Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms, Mr. Sean Keating. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President-elect of the United States, the Honorable J.D. Vance.
Vice President-elect J.D. Vance, that means we are not far away from introducing President-elect Donald Trump. Just on that point, and Annalise is still there as we've got a few more minutes before that happens. I mean, the story of J.D. Vance, it's worth repeating because he's a young guy. He's ultimately a young guy. He hasn't been really in the limelight for that long, considering all of his opponents out there. He burst onto the scene with Hillbilly Elegy some years back, the best-selling book, which is a good read. But, you know, he's still fresh, isn't he?
is. He still has a long way to run, and Donald Trump only has one more term in him, so that is why there is such a focus on J.D. Vance being the potential next. He came from nothing. He had a really poor background, and he's self-built. He went through the Marines, he went to Yale, he's got the beautiful wife and family, and what he was really successful in was debating. He's good on his feet, he was very good at prosecuting his case, and that's how he originally caught the eye of Donald Trump, through his sons. They became familiar with each other, and it was the sons that really pushed J.D. Vance. He had a bad start to things with some comments he had made about childless cat ladies, really offending a lot of people, and I think what happened for them is that story played out further away from Election Day than it would have done too much damage, and also it was just such a clear choice for so many Americans already. They'd made up their mind early on, so the chance to sway the undecided voters was minimal, and then it didn't impact the minds of people who were just more focused on the economy. And again, it's just the fact that Joe Biden has had this clear cognitive decline that everyone didn't talk about and everyone else in America saw. And it really undermined a lot of the Democrat campaign, that people just felt like they couldn't trust them. The number one question I got asked when I was traveling was, who's been running the country for the last 4 years? After today, there will be no doubt who's running the